Here are the different conjugations using the verb to call. The root word for to call is tawag. It can also have the form of tawg. Let's review now the different voices on using verbs. There are active voices, direct passive voices, and indirect passive voices. For instance, if I called, he called, they called, that's focusing on the actor. Those are active voices. If I would have said, I called him, that now we're focusing on the one being called. That voice is the direct passive voice. And then the third voice is indirect, such as call a taxi for Anna. So now the one benefiting from the action, for instance, call a taxi for Anna, that would be Anna. And then the taxi, the one I'm calling, is not the focus. So that's why we have an indirect passive voice. Within the voice, there are temporal moods and durative moods. If this is an action that didn't take long, we would consider that a temporal mood. And if something that is longer duration, that's a durative mood. And then we have an ablative mood for able to or opportunity to. And within the voice and the mood, there are tenses. If an action has already started, we would call that present past tense. And if it's contemplated or has not started, then we consider that a future tense. And then we also have a command tense. Let's look at the examples. Mitawag ko taxi. Okay, the conjugation for me, which can also be ni, for the affix, is considered active focus. So the one doing the action is in the absolutive case. The one doing the action, let's say I called, that would be mitawag ko. And then the one that was called is not focused, so we'd usually label those as og or sa. Remember to review, sa is something that we saw or that we talked about. Og is another form of saying a, like og taxi, a taxi. The second one is a future tense active voice, temporal. Mutawag ko niya. I will call her. Again, focus on me, I. I will call her. Definitely to be done, and it won't take too long. Considered temporal mood, future tense. Third example is a longer duration. So naga or nag. Nagatawag siya taxi. He was calling. So it's like calling. He was calling a taxi. That nagatawag can also be in the form of nagtawag. It's durative mood, active focus, considered present/past tense. Now we have future tense, so it's like we're saying will be calling. Magatawag silag. They will be calling, and then og taxi. That og is merged with sila to make it silag. More than one taxi, mga taxi. I realize now that should have been TAKSI for the taxi, which I corrected later on in this paper. Magatawag silag mga taxi. They will be calling taxis ugma tomorrow. Or magtawag. It can be magatawag or magtawag. Some verbs have a command tense for the actor, but on this particular verb, call, we're focusing on when we're commanding, the focus will not be an active voice. It will be an indirect or a direct voice. The next mood for an active voice is ablative, present past tense. For the conjugation of tawag, we'll use nakatawag, and for future tense, makatawag. For example, nakatawag ko, I can call, oh no, I called, I had ability to call, or opportunity to call the taxi that we talked about, sa taxi, gahapon, yesterday. Future tense, makatawag siya, he can call us, nato, that nato is inclusive us, karong gabi, tonight. And then plural tense, on the active voice, if it's past or present tense, nanawag silag. Okay, now we use nanawag. Sila is they. So more than one person, plural, we use nanawag. They called. Nanawag silag. So og is non-focus. We're talking about taxi. More than one, mga taxi. They were calling taxis yesterday. Nanawag silag mga taxi kagahapon. Another way of using nanawag, if it's not more than one person doing the action, that I have found out is a sense of more than one occurrence. So if I would say, I was calling earlier, so that would be more like nanawag ko, I was calling multiple times, or plural sense, kaganina, earlier. And then future tense for a plural mood, manawag. Manawag sila, they will be calling us, namo. So this form of us is exclusive. They will be calling us later. Manawag sila namo, unya. The next sense or the next voice is direct passive, which is the one that we're calling. It's the focus of this sentence. If it's a temporal or durative mood, present or past tense, the verb tawag is conjugated gitawag. So in this sentence, gitawag niya, he called, but now we're focusing on who did he call. Gitawag niya, and niya is now an ergative case of he. Niya, ergative case of he. We're focusing on who was called, the doctor, ang doctor. To make it clarify here, I put the focus on these direct and indirective voices in capitals. He called the doctor. Gitawag niya ang doktor. On the direct passive temporal durative future tense, the conjugation is tawagon or tawgon. The person doing the calling is an ergative case like niya, nila. In this example, we use a proper noun, ni Tom. Tawagon ni Tom. Who will Tom call? The driver, ang driver. Tawagon ni Tom ang driver. Direct passive, temporal, durative mood, command tense. We're instructing or we're commanding a person to call someone. In this example, we're commanding, I'm talking to someone, the second person. to have them call the nurse. The conjugation is tawga. Tawga ang nars. The next is ablative on the direct passive voice, past, present tense. On this example, we're saying the nurse could have been called. This ability, there was an ability to call the nurse. Ang mga nars natawag. The nurse could have been called. Natawag. Future tense for that direct passive ablative. The drivers can be called. Matawag ang mga driver. And then we have the indirect passive. This is to benefit, for the benefit of somebody. We're calling something or someone. In the past present tense, we're going to call a taxi for Anna. But in this example, it's the past present, and he called the taxi for Anna. Gitawgan niya si Anna. He called for Anna o taxi, a taxi. Future tense, Tom will call taxis for them, sila. We're focusing on for them, sila. And then ang was combined with sila to make it silang. Tawagan ni Tom silang mga taxi. And then the command tense for calling someone or something for someone. We're commanding somebody, the second person, to call a nurse for his mom. Tawag si imong mama. Call for your mom. Sa nurse, the nurse. But the nurse is not focused. The mom, we're calling for the mom, the nurse. And then the nurse that we're talking about is sa.